Good evening, my name is Michael Weintraub, and this is ASU News. Our first story tonight, China trying to block publication of UN Darfur report. Beijing is trying to prevent the release of a report which says Chinese bullets have been used against Darfur peacekeepers, unnamed UN diplomats say. The report says that a dozen different brands of Chinese bullet casings have been found in Darfur, some at sites where attacks on UN troops took place. Sudan and China are close allies. Beijing has played a key role in developing Sudan's oil industry. Ceasefires and peace negotiations have failed to end the conflict in the volatile western Sudanese region. The UN says that about 300,000 people have died and more than 2.6 million displaced by fighting since rebels took arms in the region in 2003. Sudan's President Omar al-Bashir is wanted by the International Criminal Court on charges his forces committed war crimes in Darfur. Allegations he strongly denies. In other news, China trade with Africa is on track to new records. Trade between China and Africa is on track to hit more than $110 billion this year, setting a new record. Chinese state-run media said Friday China has increasingly turned to resource-rich Africa as China's booming economy has demanded more and more oil and raw materials. China-Africa trade probably will grow by more than 20% in the next 3 to 5 years. China has become Africa's largest trade partner, with many deals involving natural resources in exchange for building infrastructure and loans. China imports oil from Africa, as well as commodities such as timber, copper, and diamonds. China also exports processed foods, household products, and other manufactured goods to African countries.
Alright, so tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do, and just a little description about who you are.
My name is Marcus Kwesi-Pepra.
Okay.
I'm from Ghana,
Okay.
and this is my second year at UF. I had my undergrad at Reed College, which is all the way in the West Coast, Portland, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And right now what I'm working on is, I work in low temperature physics.
Mm-hmm.
So I study the magnetic properties of materials, and sometimes under different conditions like pressure. So that's one of my projects right now.
So what's your inspiration in pursuing your current career?
Let me say, I am an engineer, so I always want to be able to find the practicality in things, and find how do I put it? In Ghana, I did a little bit of electrical engineering.
Okay.
So when I came here, that's what I wanted to pursue. But my undergrad didn't really have an engineering school. So I switched to physics, which is the closest I can get to. That's why I'm in the low temperature, because what I have to do every time is to think about how I'm going to set up my equipment. And I build everything from scratch, except of course the big meters that I use. The small things like the pressure cells and like the electrical connections, I have to build them myself. So it makes me feel good because it's close to being an engineer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you intend to apply the research that you're doing now into the real world? How would the real world benefit from what you
So I usually see this as a means to an end, because I want to end up in the industry. So this is something that's going to get me, prepare me in a way that once I get out of the, once I get my PhD, I get into the world, and I'm faced with a problem, I'll know how to approach it. So what I see, the whole purpose of a PhD is to prepare you for the world out there in terms of approaching problems. But eventually, I'll go back to Ghana. That's my main aim. And of course, Ghana has just discovered oil. I need to get my share of that. So getting a degree in inorganic chemistry, physics related to inorganic chemistry is like the way to go right now.
Alright, so all the knowledge that you've gained so far in your research and hopefully in the future, do you have any plans of helping? What's your plan in helping out back home in Africa?
As I said, I definitely have to go back home. So once I get home, like my plan is to set up a business, or not really get into politics, but I have a bunch of friends who are going to get into politics, and like communicating with them, we'll be able to set up something to help the country.
Do you have any advice for the upcoming students or the younger generation who have this kind of ideas in their mind?
Okay. So one question that, like, when I speak with people, let me say undergrads, is they are always afraid of what they'll be doing and how it's going to restrict them. What you get as your undergraduate degree rarely reflects what you're going to become like doing graduate school, because you can do physics and end up in math, you can do math end up in physics, or even business. So what you have to think of, like, try and get a get good grades, get your don't worry about get your degree in an area you love as your undergrad, because that would give you an easy access to graduate school. Because if you have good grades, then you get in. Then once you get to your graduate level, that's where you probably have to think of what you have to do. But even that doesn't restrict you. And I have an example in that, like, before I came to Florida, I traveled to other schools, and I wanted to do biophysics. And all the profs that I met who were in biophysics didn't really get their PhD in biophysics. They had their PhD in maybe condensed matter or in high energy, but eventually they ended up in biophysics. So the thing is, as I said, the PhD is to prepare you. It shows you how to study. So once you, after a PhD, what you become is basically like on site, or like you learn as you go. So my main advice is just do as an undergrad, try and get your good grades in the area that you love, and once you're done, you can think about your your graduate degree. Because what I told my student was, the reason why it's called university is universal studying. So you should be able to be like, it gives you the preparation to be able to do anything, everything you want to do. Yeah.
Great, thank you, Kurt.